All set.
Great. So welcome to the 2020-2021 Homes PTO first community meeting of the year. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Adrienne Golden. I am the co-president of the Homes PTO at the moment. I'm a co of one. And thank you all for joining us tonight. And thank you to those of you who watch this in the future. Should we go to the next slide? We like to start these with a quote. And this quote from Malala just really kind of spoke to me about where we are right now and the resiliency of our kids, because we are in unprecedented territory and these kids are doing an amazing job and the staff are doing an amazing job and the parents are doing an amazing job. And even though it doesn't feel like it for a lot of us a lot of the time, I'm gonna say it out loud, everyone here is doing an amazing job and thank you. Next slide. We've got a kind of quick agenda tonight. I think a lot of people are on Zoom a lot of the day, and so we don't want to belabor anything more than we have to. We'll do some quick welcomes and introductions. Dr. Zelaya and Mrs. Scarzadeh will do some school and district updates. We've got a diversity presentation. We've got a financial presentation and a budget vote, and then just a little bit about the PTOs, some PTO needs. So let's dive in. Welcome, I'm Adrienne Golden. First I wanna introduce the board, the PTO as an entity. If you wanna go to the next slide. Oh, sorry, no, first I'm gonna do the meeting norms. The meeting norms are something we agreed on with the PTO several years ago. You can all read, I assume you can all read. But basically, we're gonna be kind to each other. We're going to respect confidentiality. And we're going to respect each other. I put 9 things down into 3 there. We'll go to the next. Okay, so the PTO mission, the Homes PTO promotes exceptional academics and connects diverse students, families, and staff through focus on service, community, and inclusion. As a nonprofit, we are required to have a mission statement. This is it. This was redone a couple of years ago to reflect the direction that we would like the board to go, the PTO to go forward. So how do we achieve that? Who are we as a PTO? PTO is made up of all homeschool parents, guardians, teachers, staff members, and anyone else invested in our school and its community. A lot of people still don't know that as a stakeholder with a child at homes, you are automatically a member of the PTO. And we appreciate everything that everyone has done, and we look forward to seeing what other people might want to bring to the table. Who are we as a board? These are the current executive board members. You can all read this. A number of our executive board members are on this call tonight. So if we could just have a hello from those of you who are, we'll just go down the list. I'm Adrienne, hello.
Oh, I'm Layla, hi.
I'm Christine, hello everybody. I'm Patisa Scarzadeh, assistant principal. Nice to see you all.
I'm Margaret O'Malley. I'm one of the administrative assistants at Homes. Welcome.
Hi, Katie Vandenbos.
Hey, Marcia Despy.
Hi, I'm Lauren Bach.
Hi, I'm Richa Singhal.
Hi, I'm Cephas Knausenberger.
Hi, I'm Aisha.
I think Amy is on the call. I know she was having some technical difficulties.
Amy said hi. I saw her mouth move in the way.
Okay, great. On behalf of the executive board, welcome. So what can you do to help? One way to help, Lauren, I think I want to turn this one over to you.
Lauren, you're on mute.
I did it. Hi. So I just put together a quick sign up genius with the names of all of our teachers and staff, from principal down to janitor. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. So it just includes everybody that has helped thus far make this year what it has been. The teachers, if you've heard any of your kids on Zoom, they are doing a lot. They're preparing, hours outside of the day. And so just, if you can just go to the online sign up, this will go out in the Hawk, I believe, as well. And just choose a teacher or staff member. I will in turn send you their email address. Feel free to choose more than one. And just send a personalized note saying, hey, thanks, you're appreciated. I think a little thanks goes a long way. So that's it.
Thank you, Lauren. And we will make that link available on the Homes PTO website as well.
All right, I think this is us now, Mrs. Garzadeh. So welcome. We have a couple of updates for our families tonight. You can go to the next slide. So currently, the school district is on an adaptive pause. They had started to bring back some groups of students, predominantly students who had significant needs, had a one-to-one teacher's assistant, or were in our instructional program, but due to the high rise of numbers of COVID cases within the district went on an adaptive pause. So those students are no longer being instructed in person. They're being instructed remotely. And that also means that all office staff are also teleworking right now. So welcome to my living room. So we are on an adaptive pause till at least November 30th right now. So if for any reason anybody needs to reach us, the best way to do that is through email. Although if you do call the school, Miss O'Malley and Mrs. Krickow are monitoring that throughout the day. So we'll be able to get those messages and get back to people. But we are sharing our email addresses with you so that you can make sure that you are able to reach us. Go to the next slide. So just kind of a reminder, as we talked about at the beginning of the year, we have 4 school improvement goals that guide the work that we do as a school. We have a goal in English language arts, or ELA. We have a math goal. We have an attendance and engagement goal. And we also have a social emotional learning goal. And a lot of what we're going to be sharing with you this evening are some of the ways that we're working to meet our SEL needs for our students and for our families. So as many of you have probably seen in your living room, if your students are learning from home, we are focusing our student-led assemblies this year on honoring our heritage. And so the highlighted in yellow months are months that the students have chosen to kind of focus their attention on this year. So in September, we had a really awesome mariachi band show up for our student assembly. And then in October, oh my goodness, what did we do in October, Dr. Zelaya? I'm drawing a blank on that one. But anyways, in November, we had just...
Don't put me on the spot like that.
Like that was not highlighted, I don't remember.
It was a great assembly. I remember that.
And so anyways, this month was Native American Heritage Month. And if you did not get the chance to attend the assembly today,
please go onto our YouTube. We'll be sending it out in Dr. Zelaya's Parent Hawk this Friday. But some of our assembly leaders got the opportunity to interview some Diné Navajo people, and then a Grammy nominee. Her name is Radmilla Cody. She performed for us, and the students also got to interview her, and it was just an incredible experience. And so a very small portion of the interview was shared at the assembly today, but the full interview was about 45 minutes of kind of what life is like on a Navajo Nation, and how life on the reservation is different from the city. It was just a really powerful experience. And then the other ones in February, March, we'll be doing African American History Month, National Women's History Month, and Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And the DIVCO, they are also asking parents and families to participate by submitting announcements for these months. And so that's one way that our family community can participate. And then one of our students reads those announcements in the morning. So we just want to bring in as much culture as we can to homes. So if you have any input or would like to participate in any way, please reach out. I work with a group of about 13 fifth graders to prepare these assemblies. So I'm always open to ideas, and they bring most of the ideas to me, but we're always open to more.
Mrs. Garza, you did not miss a month. October is when we actually did the mariachi one because of Hispanic Heritage Month going from September to October 15th.
You're right. I stumped myself. It's been a long day. Okay, so this year, you guys have all participated in a parent survey. And we also have surveyed our students, a remote learning survey, just to kind of gather some data. We're trying this, like Adrian said, these are uncharted territories. This is hard. We are all doing our very best. Everyone's doing an outstanding job. We continue to be amazed by the teaching and the performance of students and the attendance, and so many things are going really well, although it's really hard, and we understand that. So we're really trying to focus on the social emotional aspect of our students and how we can really just kind of support each other and our community and our teachers. So we only included a couple of results from these surveys, although we did have a lot of open-ended questions where parents had the opportunity to kind of really give us some detailed information about how their child was doing. So overall, how's your child's remote experience going so far? You can see that red, blue, and yellow, these ones are kind of like very well, neither well nor poor. And then there's a small percentage that are not well or very poor. So a lot of these parents kind of gave us some information about their students, and then we use that information to put in some interventions or support as needed. Another question asked on that survey was how what your child could use help with. And so here are some of the things that stood out. Turning in work is one that's been really hard remotely. We're finding that, parents are working, teachers are remote, and so it's a little bit challenging to really track how much student work is being submitted. I mean, it's being submitted, but it's hard to keep track of it all. So that's one thing that we're working on, and I'll share a little bit about how we can support that. Managing their emotions, staying focused during synchronous and asynchronous time. So those are some of the things that parents indicated that their students need some support with in the survey. And then we asked students some of the same questions. Overall, how's your remote learning experience going? And so students were very well, and this 54% is well, neither well nor poor, and then a small percentage not well at all. And so, like I said, we pull out the open-ended questions of those surveys, and our PBIS Tier 1 and Tier 2 team really go in and look through that data and kind of either group kids and see if there's any trends and how we can make some groups, or if certain students need more than others, we partner them with either a social worker or a check in, check out mentor. So some of the things that we're doing to support the students. First of all, we have just brought on students to our PBIS team. So Dr. Zelaya and I we meet twice a month with the teachers who represent the PBIS team, which is the Positive Behavior Intervention Support Team. And we recently put out an application for 4th and 5th graders to join the Tier 1 team. And we had Dr. Zelaya, we had a challenging selection. There was like 30 kids who applied, and we really kind of dug into their answers and chose 5 students to represent the student body. And so they now sit with us on the team and are giving us ideas on what they think we can do to make this experience a little bit more exciting. Obviously, if it's, you know, reasonable. So that's been one really exciting change to our PBIS team. Another thing that the students came up with, and Miss O'Malley has been talking about this kind of for a while this year, is how can we get the students to really socialize more? I know that that's something that they're really itching for. I'm itching for it too, but so we're gonna start doing social lunch hours, 1 per grade level. So there'll be an open Zoom, and if your child's in 3rd grade, their day might be on Wednesday, and they can just hop onto the lunch Zoom and get kicked out into breakout rooms or stay with the whole group and just kind of socialize during lunch. I know it's not ideal because it's another Zoom time, but that's something that we're gonna be offering soon. We also have what we call Hawks Academy, or check-in, check-out. And in school, it looks a little bit different than remote. Remote, if it's come to our attention that a student needs a little bit more, just a positive adult check-in, struggling with work completion, needs to do some goal setting with the preferred adult, we pair them with an adult mentor and they choose that person. And if, like, you know, I'll meet with them, I'll say, who would you like it to be? And that person will check in with them once a day or 3 times a week, depending on the need, and just do some goal setting with that student. Like, what are some things that you're working on? And a lot of times just a little bit more adult attention can make some big changes for a student. Another thing that we use that survey data to do is form DePaul and SAGE groups. So SAGE groups are social academic groups, and we haven't started those yet. We've really been focusing a lot on our DePaul mindfulness groups, but we are about to start some SAGE groups. There's a couple of students who were looking for some support. Their parents said that they were looking for some wiggles, get their wiggles out and move a little bit more. So we're looking for like a physical education group. There's also one that we're looking at for creativity. It'll probably be led by an art teacher. Our social worker is looking to start like some Pokemon lunch groups. So we have a bunch of different things coming together based on survey data, parent data. We have a form that goes out in Dr. Zelaya's Parent Hawk every week where parents can request support. And if parents fill out that form, I reach out to them, talk with our PBIS team, and we kind of brainstorm like what intervention will be best for this kid to kind of give them a boost. So those are some things that are kind of already happening. The DePaul partnership has been phenomenal. We have a really good clinician. He does a couple different things. He does cognitive mindfulness groups where he's teaching kids just mindfulness strategies to breathe, to do yoga, to listen for signals. And then he also is doing an executive functioning group, teaching kids how to function in this new environment that they're in. We also have a new family outreach care coordinator through DePaul. So if it comes to our attention that a family needs some family supports, we connect them with her, and she can kind of give them some Oak Park resources and kind of connect them with some local support in the community. Also in Dr. Zelaya's Parent Hawk, there's another resource in there called HUD Resources, which is a super cool website. You type in your zip code and it gives you all of the local resources around you for food, anything you can imagine, therapy, all the different kind of supports that somebody might need during this really challenging time. Our social work, we have 2 awesome new social workers. One of them is considering starting a parent support group, so that's coming soon. And then the last thing on this list, sorry I'm talking fast, is POP, Power of Partnership, and that's through the Oak Park E-team, thank you. And this is, we have an awesome connection with the E-team, and they have about 50 tutors that if we identify a 3rd, 4th, or 5th grader who needs some extra one-on-one support, we'll send you an application, you submit the application, and they'll partner you with a tutor for free for your child. And we're using those tutors a lot for work completion. They check in with students, make sure they've done all their work for the week, just so that people don't get behind. Because when the students get behind, it just kind of piles up and we see a little bit of stress and anxiety that kind of comes out. So that's some of the interventions that we have. And like I said, we're using all of that survey data to really dig into students' needs. We use the forms that Dr. Zelaya sends out in her Parent Hawk, the request for support form, to determine these. So if you or anyone in your community group is looking for a little bit of extra support for your student, please reach out. We have opportunities, we have some resources, we have some interventions that we want to use to support your students. So that was a lot of information. At the end, we will have time for questions, right, Dr. Zelaya, or should we do questions now?
No, we were gonna answer questions more towards the end, unless, yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna also share with you, we just asked for families to complete, last week, I think, or within the last 2 weeks, the Homes Hybrid or the District Hybrid Learning Survey, but you were asked to complete one survey for each of your children. And I was gonna share those results with you today. So we had 463 responses for our students, which is really close, within a few students to our actual student population. So we had almost 100% participation across all of our grade levels, where we saw that representation. You can go to the next slide. Thinking about, kind of disaggregated data based on services that students are currently receiving, either an IEP or special ed, English language learner supports, or 504, or those types of services. Next slide. We also looked at all of that information based on race and ethnicity. So we're looking at the needs of our students based on this information as well. And then we can see based on the children, like the percentage of responses by race as well. So we had a really good representation of our school community complete the survey, which is outstanding. And then we also, another demographic that we always look at is our free and reduced lunch demographics. So some of the questions that were asked, is, are you likely to come back to school if we offer a hybrid, or are you likely to have your child stay home and be remote? And we're fairly split. 55% would opt their child to come to a hybrid, with about 45% saying, no, we're gonna stick with remote learning. This is where I need to put on my glasses. Oh boy. Okay. So we asked why. We want to know, like, what is it that families are wanting within the hybrid model? Because I think, you've probably seen on different news reports or heard people talking about, like, even if we come back to school is going to look so very different. So really, what is it that you're hoping to have the experience be for your children when we do come back or do start to offer hybrid learning? And I'm seeking, for in-person, really socialization, like 83% of the respondents. And I also will note on this question, 208 people skipped this question. So there's 255 responses, but the majority of people are seeking those socialization opportunities for their school, followed by, in-person instruction for their child. Struggling with remote learning was another reason that families wanted to come in for a hybrid model. We can go to the next slide. So if you were looking to stay full-time remote, we also wanted to know, why you wanted to stay full remote. 90% of the respondents, and again, 209 answered, 254 skipped this question, but 90%, their number one reason was the health and safety concerns of coming back into school, and whether, what would the adherence to safety protocols be, and just unsure of that. Full-time remote learning is working well for their child. It's easier to maintain the current learning model, was followed there. And you can kind of see some of the other reasons that were chosen.
Sorry, did I go too soon?
No, you're fine. So if the district moves to a hybrid model, what schedule would you prefer to see? And so 51% would like to see a full day partial class of students, so with adherence to safety protocols for the designated number of days each week. And then you can see kind of the breakdown from there. Some, said that they're going to stay full remote. Partial day was 8% AM or PM, or just a partial day was much lower in the percentage. And you had on that one 463 of the 463 respondents answered that question. Would you prefer to stay with your child's current teacher, regardless of the learning model? And so overwhelmingly, we're hearing from our community and our families that, they would like to keep their current teacher. They've built relationships and they want to maintain those relationships. So we had 300 and something, I can't make out that number, but that would like to keep their same teacher regardless of the model. And then about 14.5% were willing to have their child assigned to a new teacher. So what are your top 3 concerns about returning to on-site learning? We have 71% are concerned about the students, staff, and our families following the health and safety protocols, followed by the risk of contracting or spreading COVID-19 were the 2 highest ratings. And then you have maintaining current class, building ventilation, quality and continuity of instruction, and then some of the other things that you can see here in their percentages. Again, this is one that all the respondents had answered this question as well. Which best describes your childcare needs? So we also want to know, like, if we do come back in a hybrid, what are the childcare needs for your child? And about 48% said that they don't need childcare. And then others, it depends on the hybrid. Other people weren't really sure at this time. So, there isn't at this moment that significant of a need for childcare. It's kind of split. I think it's going to depend on the model. So I am myself and one of our teachers who is one of our union leaders from the building sits on the superintendent advisory panel. We've been meeting weekly with members throughout the community, representation from all schools, members of the teachers union, parents. So we have been meeting to really take a look at all of this information and develop a plan. They just closed this evening at about 6 or 6:30. They put out the trying to get feedback, the thought partnering, where you would give your, some ideas, people would kind of rank ideas and share like what they are hoping to see. And this is a really good way that the district wants to collect feedback from all families, staff, and from students as well are part of that. And so when we meet again tomorrow night, we meet tomorrow evening from 6 to 8, we will be looking at some of that data and using that to really kind of hone in on what the hybrid model could potentially look like. So with that said, are there any questions that you have for either myself or Mrs. Garzadeh?
Hey, it's Daryl. I do have one question. The parents' view of their child's, or how well their children are doing in school seems to be a little bit different from how the kids feel they're doing at the moment. How do you plan to reconcile that data to move forward?
Mrs. Garzadeh, you're muted. You should hold up the sign.
What happened? Daryl, that's kind of why we did the student survey, because we wanted to get the student perspective of what, if there was a lot of differences in their perspective versus their parents' perspective. What we do with it is, we dig into the data, and whether it's the parent or the student who identifies a need, we still address it. And I think that it was quite interesting because we could actually see the exact student, and the student's like, oh, I'm doing really great. And the parent's like, oh no, the student's not doing very good. I need help, So I think,
and vice versa. And when we saw that, we would contact the families and have a conversation with the families. The teachers also, you know, that's why coming to school on time is so important, you know, for that first half hour of the day for the community meetings. And the teachers usually are strategic in the questions that they're posing for their morning circle time and their morning community building to really get to the heart of that social emotional component for our kids and to dig into how they're feeling and why they're feeling a certain way. And then there's follow-up. We also have problem solving meetings here every Friday with myself, Mrs. Scarzade, our social workers, and really kind of digging into some of that data and, you know, thinking about individual students and, you know, working with their families that when we find a need arises. Any other questions for us? Feel free to take the mic. I see that there's things in the chat. Let me see if nothing in the chat about that.
So when's the next meeting and kind of checkpoint about the next decisions and stuff like that?
For the hybrid model? Katie?
Yeah, yes.
So we meet again tomorrow night. The panel meets tomorrow night. And so they'll be sharing all of that information probably in the weekly wrap up that Amanda sends out. She's been sending like the videos and all of the agendas and information out to families and to staff after every meeting.
all right, Adrienne, are you ready to go on then, I guess?
I think so. Diversity, I'm going to turn it over to Richa and Aisha to talk about diversity initiatives.
Hi, everyone. Aisha and I are on the diversity team, and we have goals that we really want to make sure that they are met, and we need the parent and teacher support. So basically, we see ourselves as a liaison between the underrepresented communities and the school. If you feel there is a community that we are not addressing, please reach out to Aisha and me. Our email address is homesdivco@gmail.com. That's a shared email address for Aisha and me, so you will get a hold of both of us. Please use that and reach out to us for any concerns or questions or comments. Next slide, please. So the money that parents have been donating to the PTO have been used for 2 events through DIVCO. Some of the money, sorry. So we had the BLM March on June 20th and the one on September 17th that had a go vote element to it. So thank you for everyone who's attended. It was really great to see the Holmes community represent during those 2 marches, and we hope to continue. All right, so this is something that I personally am really excited about. For the Heritage Months, we decided that instead of us finding facts for the community that was being represented that month, we want the parents to actually submit something that they can share in the morning announcements. And if you look at the Hawk, it's usually a link at the bottom where you can go and click on it if that month is being represented by your community. And Ms. Scarzade already talked about the months. We're doing Hispanic, which already passed. And we had one parent contribute, which was really nice. And then November Indigenous American is this month. And I was wondering why no parents have responded. And I just looked at the charts and it doesn't look like we really have a strong Indigenous American community. So that makes sense as to why no one.
We have 1 student.
Oh, okay. That makes sense as to why no one's responded to that. December, we decided that we're going to have it as a disabled month. So keep that in mind for any parents that have any disabled children that would like to share a fact for their morning announcements. February will be Black Heritage Month. March will be Women's Month. April will be Arab and Middle Eastern. And then May will be Asian Pacific. And if you feel there's a community that's not represented, please again, reach out to Aisha and me. Next slide, please. So our last slide is the one book, one school. Last year, I think it was the wish tree that was done. And Aisha and I are looking for something that will be, it's going to actually be 2 books, one school, but 1 book for the KG through 2nd and another book for 3rd to 5th. And we will probably be rolling it out sometime in like February or March of 2021. No specific date, but definitely sometime in 2021. And thank you for everyone's time.
Thank you. Our financial presentation and the budget, I'm going to turn this over to Katie, and I think Cephas has a portion of this as well.
All right, hi everybody. If you don't mind, next slide, please. So for the budget, we did a couple slides on what the current state of the budget is, and then we could go through the budget in a little more, not too much detail, but give you a little run through. So next slide, please. Yeah, so we're thinking about, what are we not doing and what have we done? So as you guys know, everything in person has been put on hold. So that's quite a lot of our events, Taste of Homes, things like that. Of course, Edge is something else that we, made the decision that it'd be really difficult to figure out how to support that. So we weren't doing that either. But what we did add is, we were very mindful of how we plan for the budget this year. We have a nice size student in need fund. We have additional budget for assemblies, like helping with the mariachi band. And then, we really added, intentionally to the budget for the diversity and inclusion portion of the budget. We are hoping to looking to have a fun run in the spring. And then, we're brainstorming and thinking about other kinds of virtual events. So if anybody has ideas for that, we're open to them as well. So this is just a snapshot of the expense. We took out Edge, if we were to do it in the spring, which is probably not going to happen, but that's just a pass through. So we took that out. You can see that quite a lot is invested in our staff. You can see that's kind of our biggest slice here. And everything breaks down to that total of $37,320. Does anybody have any questions on the expenses? All right, next slide, please. And then this is revenue. So you can see the bulk of it is our surplus from last year, which we are very grateful for. We had talked about using this money in different places and other things happened, but perhaps it was all for the best because, who knows what's going to happen this year. We're kind of like sticking into the status quo, because we understand a lot of families are struggling and, donations may not be what they have been prior years. So we're grateful for that. And then, certainly the bucket for fundraising. So the other side of the budget, looking at the same, the $37,320. And then, oh, I'm sorry, go back just one more, please. Yep. So if I, I can't click and open that. I thought I could click my own screen. Parisa, if you don't mind to click, yeah, that'll take us to a Google Doc. Oh, so this is just how the revenue breaks down. And this link is available for everybody. So if people want to look at it later, but you can see some of the fundraising items. We were trying to be modest about some of these things, given, we're not really sure how things will go. We're looking to still do some kind of virtual trivia night. We'll see what we'll be doing for that in the spring. And then if you slide down a little bit to the expense, is a little farther down, breaks down to, academic is pretty lean this year. Then we still have things like our administrative expenses. And if you don't mind, slide down a little more. And then we have standard things like communication. And so that enrichment, that $15,000 is just a pass through. So we kind of took that out of the equation. And then standard financial and things like insurance, accountants, stuff like that. And then for fundraising expense, that's kind of light because we're just taking into account possible trivia night expense there for audiovisual stuff. For community, we have Things like maybe we'll be able to do a drive-up pancake breakfast we're thinking about. When you go through, our biggest piece budget item is our staff, and that's there on the bottom. So, you know, a lot for student in need fund was the big highlight. And then the last piece is that welcome and inclusion. So really trying to put money back in the community there. And then we have teacher appreciation, and that's about it. So the total budget coming to 52,320, and like I said, that includes that 20,000 excess. Any questions? So were we, Adrienne, going to think about approving this budget here?
Yeah, there's a budget approval on here, but I want to do the fundraising presentation first.
That makes sense. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
So Cephas, we'll turn it over to you to talk about some fundraising stuff.
Excellent. Okay, so we have a diagram here for some of the initiatives we have set for fundraising. Thank goodness for the surplus, because COVID has made our normal activities a little bit challenging. And for all of you that ate out at Lou Malnati's today, thank you. It helps us a lot. So hopefully we're going to continue the dine out protocol with hopefully a turnover to the new Daily Bagel in Oak Park. This is also sort of a conjunction with you know, supporting our local businesses also during this this challenging time. So it's hopefully doing two goods for the price of one. So that's the one piece. The two others that we're going to like to try to highlight is the opportunity to use Amazon Smile. And that's basically a cost-free way that we can get money. The link should be on the PTO website, as well as the Shop with Script. It's basically a gift card purchasing site where if you buy gift cards for the holidays or for thank you gifts and so forth, you're going to be able to donate through your purchase some money back to the PTO. So that link is also available on the PTO website. That's probably your one-stop shop for sort of getting in touch with things. That's always been our challenge, as well as getting the word out. So the website is probably your best place, and the Hawk as well is invaluable to be able to get the word out. New next year also is a fun run. Right now we're planning for it in a virtual capacity. And our goal is to keep this inclusionary. So it's not going to be a competitive sprint, but it's going to be more of a community building and team building activity. And just look in your emails and communications via the PTO website and Facebook as those details come out. The last piece is our trivia night. Also, that's slated for the end of February in 2021. And it's going to be a new format virtually, and look for details on that shortly. Again, this is just a highlight with maybe some more information regarding the dine outs. Keep a lookout for those, the gift cards and so forth with Shop with Script. You can make a note of the enrollment code, as well as, like I said, on the PTO website. I think I'm done. Great.
Okay, so the budget, Katie did show us an overview of that. The budget does need approval. So if anyone has any questions about the budget, this is a great time to ask. If there aren't any questions, I would love it if someone could make a motion to approve the budget. And I don't get a vote, so the rest of you.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Cephas. Is there a second?
I second, Katie.
Thank you. Can I get a share of ayes? I always hear my second graders teacher say, okay, everyone on mute now.
Aye.
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 Do we have any nays? Do we have any abstentions? Well, it sounds like we have a budget. Thank you very much to all of you. And thank you so much to Katie, because I know exactly how many hours she has spent on this.
And Adrian, quick question. Do we have to log like how many and the approval, like who approved it, or is it just that it was unanimously approved? Do we have to put that in the minutes?
We need to log who motioned, who seconded, and I think we can go with a unanimous approval.
Okay. So was that Daryl or Cephas that did the initial? I forget.
Cephas.
Oh, Cephas. Cool. Okay. Thanks, Margaret.
This is why Margaret is our secretary. All right, executive board roles and needs. We are a very efficient executive board at the moment. If you want to go to the next slide, please. I'm using the term efficient because other terms make me cry. We do have a number of open board positions, and we have a number of positions that will soon become open. I need a co-president. So if you are interested, or if you know anyone who's interested in any of these positions, co-president, co-treasurer would work with Katie. Co-VP of fundraising would work with Cephas, and our community engagements. Currently, Karishma is in that role, and she will be vacating that soon. So we have open roles. We would love to fill them with people who are very interested in being a part of this. If you want to go to the next slide. Additional PTO needs, fundraising especially will need to be all hands on deck. So we will be looking for some help specifically around some of our fundraising efforts in the near future. We are going to be looking for volunteers to help with all sorts of things, especially once we start getting some of these virtual events nailed down. And we're also looking for ideas. This year is an exercise in creativity and flexibility. And we don't know what we don't know, and we haven't thought of what we haven't thought of. So any ideas that anyone might have are welcomed and encouraged.
Hey, Adrian, what is the best way if we do have ideas for people to get it out there instead of, like my style of just texting it and then showing like a GIF of my idea. So
I love your GIFs, Layla.
Thank you. Hey, me too. But no, let's be real. I'm trying to get serious now. So like, what do you guys, should we do a Google form that we have, another lovely Google form that people love? I don't know, maybe we could think of something, ideas for the ideas of however, just the easiest way. So less outlets coming the PTO board's way of these great ideas,
Did Emily ever share the results from the other one that we had sent out seeking, or did we have any responses for that one?
I think.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think there were 9 responses total.
Okay.
Margaret just put in the chat, virtual family bingo night.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
That does sound fun.
We did that at school over, it wasn't Zoom. We live streamed it so that it went through like their Apple TV or something like that. Like YouTube, we use YouTube Live or something like that. It was a lot of fun. The kids loved it, and they'd run down and get their prizes. It was a huge success. They really wanted us to do that again.
I did it with a group of friends the other night, and it worked pretty well.
Oh, good.
And then I would email them gift cards when they won.
Ah,
I like that. If you want to go to the next slide, which I think is the last one. For anyone who has any ideas, especially of good ways to collate all of these ideas, this is my email address. I am slow to respond to email, but I do respond eventually. And if somebody else would like to take on that mantle, that would be amazing. This is the end of the presentation. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, speak now. And if not,
raised her hand.
What's up?
Richa raised her hand.
Oh, Richa?
Sorry, I'm still like 5 and like to pretend like I'm in school. I just want to say, for the new parents that are on here, not new parents, for the parents that are on here, one thing that I was worried about was how much time PTO takes. We all are on the PTO, being on the executive board takes. And if you're interested in a position, please do reach out. Like it does take some roles, like it just depends on what the activity is. It can be no hours and it can be up to like 5 hours a week. I mean, it just depends on what you have going on. But if the time is a worry or a commitment, I just doesn't hurt to try. Sorry, I wanted to give a little plug in.
Thank you. Sorry, I swallowed badly. I appreciate that. Yeah, we want to be respectful of everyone's time, and hopefully won't ask any more of anyone than they are willing to give. And in that vein.
Oh, wait, before we go, I think we have one more thing.
Yes.
Are you talking about me, Dr. Zelaya?
Yeah.
He's so eager for me to tell you guys my exciting news. So Miss Thursday is pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
Baby girl in May.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. Congrats.
Got a little baby bump. I can show you guys if you don't see me anymore.
Oh, there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So cute.
Congratulations.
Yay, it's exciting.
Thank you for sharing.
It's so weird because nobody would ever know. So I'm like, let me just, you can't tell from this little view. So yeah, we're very excited. This baby, I'm 38, so this baby is long awaited by my family. First grandbaby in my family, second in my husband. So exciting times for us.
Yay, exciting.
I have your pickles.
Yeah, and I'm craving pickles.
I have
I'm just glad that the cat's out of the bag because I have almost said something like just because we talk about it, and I'm like, oh, I can't say anything. So now it's free reign. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna tell the kids now that the teachers know, and so the community can all celebrate with me. It's always nice to have good news in the midst of all this craziness. So
Yay.
Yes. And that is a phenomenal note on which to call it a night.
Yes.
I think we're probably all tired of being in front of a screen, right?
100%.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Adrienne. This is the most efficient PTO meeting ever to date. Yeah. So thank you. Good job.